Hi everyone, we just wanted to go through an anaesthetic machine check for the Fabius Tiro machines that we have in our anaesthetic rooms here at Kettering General Hospital. So these are electronically driven piston ventilators. So we're just going to do a brief run through and we just want to make sure that everyone knows this is in no way the full anaesthetic machine check that is needed for IHC. This is purely just to check your machines every day in theatre or every evening in theatre before you start a list. So we'll first just make sure when you come in, the machines will most likely be in sleep mode and will look like this. And then obviously just, if not, check that it's actually connected to the power supply, which will be at the back of the machine and then connected to the wall. While you just check that this is working, you can just do a tug test for all your gases. Make sure that your suction is connected correctly, and that also your scavenging system. And then just to check that your scavenging system is also connected to the machine itself at the back over here. And then you can see that the pipelines are connected to the machine itself, which is on the right side. So then we can basically then take a look at the machine itself. So you've got all your different ventilation modes over here. When the machine is referring to a rotary knob, it's referring to this over here, and this can be used to turn left and right to select things, and then also to push enter, which would be selecting that option. So if we look over here, this machine only has one flow meter. This will be for oxygen, and then the flow itself, like liters per minute, will be displayed over here. And then if you wanted to basically add nitrous oxide, then you could do so. And then as with any anaesthetic machine, any time you wanted to basically put on your nitrous without any oxygen itself, you can see here that it's not actually going to turn on. Okay. As you see, as soon as you put on your oxygen, your ventilator immediately goes into manual spontaneous ventilation. Okay. And then also you can, while you're here, we can check your cylinder pressure. So at the moment here, you can see these cylinders are on 0, and basically you can just check that by opening the cylinders at the back. And then you can watch your gauge pressure increase. You can see it increases to 1500. And then don't forget to close these again. So make sure they are tightly closed. Okay, so there are 5 kind of system tests that need to be run for these machines. So we'll start with the first one. It's basically you just push the button under each specific test that you want to do. So this first one is a system test. The machine does by itself. You don't need to do anything. It's basically just checking its software and any diagnostics that it needs to do. Then you can see it gives you a list of things that it's passed, and then it will label the machine as being functional. You can basically then click enter, and it will take you back to this main screen, and you can start the next one. So that will be for your flow sensors. So again, push the button, and then some of the tests will give you a list of instructions basically in order for the machine to complete the test. So this, for example, is then going to ask us to close all the fresh gas valves, which we can see here, and then to remove the expiratory hose from the breathing system. So we then need to move on to this side of the machine, to the breathing system itself. So if we have a look over here, the breathing system has got its expiratory limb and inspiratory limb. You can see the various arrows going towards and then away from the machine itself for expiratory and inspiratory respectively. And then, as you can see here, we've got a circle system that's connected. If you did want a common gas outlet, what you would do is over here, you basically untwist this and remove this, and then that would form a common gas outlet over there. So if you were connecting like a Bain circuit, for example. And then obviously, once you're reconnecting it, just to make sure that then this is now no longer bypassed, you basically reconnect it, make sure it's tightly connected, and come back here. So it's basically told us to remove your expiratory limb, which we're going to do. So we've done that. And then to start the flow sensor calibration, you push the rotary knob. So just basically pushing that, and then it's going to start the calibration itself. This normally doesn't really take too long, and then it's going to tell you that the test has been passed, and then basically to just reconnect your expiratory limb, which we'll just wait for it to do as it has here. Okay, so make sure that's connected properly again, and you can move on to your next test, which is to calibrate the O2 sensor. So again, pushing it there. Then looking at your O2 sensor, they're going to tell you to remove it and to expose it to room air for 2 minutes. So that's done by literally just lifting it off, and you can just put it down there and exposing it to room air for 2 minutes. While we're doing that, we can just check one or two other things. So basically just still looking at the breathing system itself. You can check your soda line, obviously making sure that no colour change has started to happen and that it's basically fresh soda line, so there's no CO2 retention when you start connecting patients to the ventilator. And then on this side of the machine, basically you can see over here that these machines only have a setting for one vaporizer, mostly being sevoflurane, and it's a Tech 5 vaporizer, so you can basically just check that the dial kind of moves all the way open and moves and locks when it's closed. You can check that it's full by just reading the level over here, and if it does need to be replaced, then you can basically just open this and then fill it with bottle. And then while we're on the side, your suction is on the left side of the machine. So this is basically the degree of suction, and then on the right side here you've got a little lever which you basically just push downwards, and then of course from off it now goes to on, and then you'll see that your suction is, and you'll hear that your suction is now working. And we'll just put that off for now. Right, so I think this has been about 2 minutes. So now to start the O2 calibration, you're going to again push the rotary knob, and then it's going to calibrate that by itself. And then again, once that's complete, it's going to tell you to reinsert the O2 sensor, so you can just pop that back on over there. So then we're going to do our leak and compliance test. So basically, it's going to give you a list of instructions again. So first of all, to close all the fresh gas control valves. As we can see, they're all on 0, they're all closed. And then to place the Y piece on the plug located by the bag mount. So the Y piece is referring, sorry, that was already connected. So the Y piece is referring to this. It basically makes Y as it's connected to your expiratory and inspiratory limb. And then basically make sure that that is connected over there. And then to make sure that the seal sample line connector is connected on both sides, and there's no leak over there. And then the next thing is to switch your APL valve to man and set it to a pressure of 40 to 50. So basically our APL valve is on about 20, and then just turning it to just over 40. And the last is to push the O2 flush, which you can find over here, to build up a pressure of 15 to 30. So this pressure build-up takes place in your bag, and then you'll see the build-up of the pressure, the number will read over there, so it happens quite quickly. So I'll just show you basically too much pressure will look like that, and then we'll basically say pressure overshoot and to retry that step. So again, you just do the same thing, but just let go a bit quicker. And then it will actually have a chance to run that test. So you can also just have a quick look at your bag. Obviously this test is testing for the same thing, but your bag is not damaged, you can't hear any air escaping, so you know that this is working properly as well. Also just another thing to mention is your auxiliary oxygen is found over here. Basically once you connect a patient to nasal cannula or any mask oxygen directly to the machine, you can connect it over here, and then you'll basically turn it to the flow that you would need. You can also, over here, you can see the brick for monitoring, whichever you connect to your patient, and then this can be removed by basically clicking unlock and putting that off, and then again popping that back in and locking it again. And then that's your monitoring. So it's now just completing the test itself, which sounds like it's nearly done. And then we're just going to take a look at this screen over here. So this basically is your gas monitoring. So if you turn this on over here, basically it's going to be monitoring your input and your end tidal, basically of your sevoflurane, of your nitrous if you're using it, and then your carbon dioxide. So as we can see over here, the machine basically said that it's passed both the leak and the compliance test, and again press the rotary knob to exit. Okay. While we have this on now, we'll just check that the CO2 monitor is working correctly by just blowing into the sample gas line. And we can see there's a small but a CO2 reading there, which will obviously, once the patient is ventilated, become more regular with every respiratory effort. The last test that we need to do is the access alarm log. So basically, if there had been alarms previously, it would have logged them. You basically just want to make sure this is clear. So again, you push the test there. You would use the knob to basically go on to clear the alarm log, and then that is to return it, and we'll take you back to the screen. So once you've completed all of those 5 system tests, you'd obviously want to check your breathing apparatus as well. And then then also emergency emergency bag can be found at the back as well, and that is everything.